Arthur!
Yo, Gene! Yes, it's us.
Hi-yo! Hi-yo, Silver! Away!
That's us. We're coming up the hill again.
I think you should do it faster.
All right, okay. We're coming up the hill again.
Get that horse sweating. Come on, let's go.
William, let's go. All right, William, let's go.
Okay. All right, you're here.
All right.
Come on.
Okay. That's it. Was that fast enough?
Knock it off.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's to our beloved listeners who just don't want us to babble more than we need to be babbling. So
we do hear
William,
your comments and we do react. See how sensitive we are. So, Gene, what are we going to talk about today? Something fun, I hope, right?
Yeah.
What?
Cha-ching, cha-ching. Money. Money, money, money.
Oh, there it is. I love that. Old cash register.
Oh, my gosh. Doesn't everybody?
Money.
Everybody.
Yes.
You know?
Yep.
Money. It's kind of hilarious because you know what? You come to Earth, you got a round trip ticket. You come in with nothing, no clothes, only the hope that your mother's going to hug you close and tight and tell you how cute you are. And then you leave with nothing. So why do we get so hung up on the money? We stress, we make ourselves sick, we do all these crazy things. We feel shame if we don't have enough money in our pocket. It's like, wait a minute. There's something to this. There's something behind this. Money. You know? Think about it. You got to pay rent to live on Earth.
True.
You got to pay bills. And they say that you can balance karma with money. So everybody wants it. So why are there those who don't have money and there's those who do? And here's something funny.
What?
I heard a story a long time ago that if you gave everybody on Earth the exact same amount of money to start life with, that they would all end up where they are now, either with or without money, because it's a karmic thing.
Oh, you should. I absolutely agree with you. Check out stories of people that have won the lottery, where they've won millions and millions of dollars and seen what they've done with it. You know, and some have gone to great lengths to try to, invest and, take care and nurture that money. But a good portion of the major lottery winners in this country end up spending it or blowing it on something or just wasting it.
Yeah, so it's like, to me, a direct tie to your level of consciousness. What are you thinking about? I don't know. I didn't mean to say, I got this sign on my in my studio that says, do not say you know. So if you hear me say you can fine me some money. In other words, I will pay you $1 every time I say you know. How's that?
All right, that's it. Here we go. Start racking them up. Let's see. Hey, as of when? Can I do retroactive to the beginning of when we started the shows? Or can I do it right now?
No, that's
We're
too
in
many
the money. Dun, 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 dun.
See how simple it is to make money? I mean, any thought that you have.
Just find Gene on saying
I'm an idea person. I can come up with an idea in a New York second.
Yeah, that's great.
But the thing is, this is true for everyone because, you can look at anything and establish a value to it. And what you establish, that value that you think it is. And even if it's worth lots more, you're still valuing it at that thought that you gave it originally. So anything has value. It's just how much value do you give it? And so that's, I think, one of the keys to making money. Not that you go to extreme in value or go to the too little in value. But do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. In fact, I want to add something to that kind of from a metaphysical standpoint based on, a deep meaning of this. That money represents the return on the investment you make in the light and the energy that you put out in supposedly your sacred labor. And so that would be your effort to the world. And then the return from that is money. And money is supposed to carry the frequency and the vibration of that effort. And so all through the whole country and all through the whole world, the money is supposed to represent the flow of the energy of people's sacred labor to each other in fulfillment of what it is they're supposed to do. And so that's
so if you're
supposed
doing
to
your
carry the
sacred
value. Yeah.
If you're doing your sacred labor in the vibration of greed, and you want to take advantage to someone, of course that's going to come back and bite you and make you have less money, when the circle comes around. And what I mean is reincarnation, because you will come back if you don't get it right. So that being said, you check your motive. Why are you putting this value on something? So I put the value of $1 on every because it means a lot to me to overcome that when I'm talking on a radio show.
Does that one count as one? Can I take that one too? You put the value on a Can I count that one as $1?
Nope, because that was said in the context of something.
Oh, okay, all right. Subjective reality here. Okay, I get it. Okay. No, but Gene absolutely has a point. You have a point on this thing. I mean, people put forth some kind of an effort, and they don't realize, for example, well, let me do this. You were talking about, you're putting forth an effort in sacred labor, and you put forth an effort in doing this, that, and the next thing. So when we come into this lifetime, and this is the problem that people don't see, we carry those momentums from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. So some people that make a lot of money, that have been born into wealth, that's not something that should be stolen away from them. It's because at some point they have earned that, or they have to learn the lessons of being in that wealth, because trust me, being in a lot of wealth carries a lot of responsibility with it. So some people will come in and say, it's not fair. That guy's got a big house, he's got a big car, that whole family's up there. That's not fair. I work my butt off, I don't get the money, blah, 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 whatever the case is. But you're not looking at the big picture from across lifetimes. That person may have given in service, they may have donated to the poor, they may have done stuff in past lifetimes that gives them the opportunity to have that wealth in this life.
So where you leave off in your last life is where you start in this life. Astrologically, it doesn't make sense that people have their situations, had they not been here, building upon them previous to then. And of course, that ties you into how many familiar situations do you find yourself in a lifetime? It's like, God, have I done this before?
Yeah, exactly.
But I think the guy that is the man on the hill that's rich did spend the last life doing honorable things with his money, being very practical and having a generous heart. There's something else that goes along with this, and that's charity, being able to give to someone like a tithe, a 10% of everything that you bring in. I tell you what, when I tithe to my company, to my radio shows, to my astrology, I buy more equipment for it. That's the same as investing in your sacred labor and making it account for something. So you can actually tithe to yourself, that which is God in you, and cause an expansion of your business. I mean, it's amazing. I do that. You get a return. If you invest in your company, you get a return. If you take 10% of everything you make, and, it's amazing how that works. And it works in the realm of church and state and everything.
So as Gene's pointing out, as one of the tools that we have for if we don't find ourselves in a position of having as much wealth as we would like, this is one of the tools, is putting forth charity, effort, tithing, where you take 10% of what it is that you do and give it back to the spiritual source that you feel is you are gaining the most enlightenment, where you're growing as a result of that. There are things that you can do. Also, one of the big things that I found, Gene, was the study of my astrology to find out those.
Well, wait a second before you go into that.
Yeah.
Before you go into that, I wanted to say that everything that you give from the generosity of your heart, you have an angel of record who writes it down. And so literally, every time you go, oh my God, I want to give to this person, and it's just done in pure love, you get credit for it. So that's going to help in the realm of the next life, should you have to come back and you don't graduate because you got things to work on. There's no such thing as death. There's only coming back again.
I see it all the time, and tithing could be, just your offering. One story that we saw here was
who's we, white man?
Joni and I.
Joni.
Yeah,
that's
Joni,
his wife,
my wife,
everybody.
Joni, and I started a garden out here a couple of years ago, and it's a small one, and we started giving away stuff that came out of the garden because we just couldn't eat it all, and we didn't have a freezer big enough to be able to handle it. And I will tell you, after about a year or so, it is coming back. You should see how big the garden has grown. And again, we're at the point where we have to give it away because otherwise it'll go to waste. So,
well, who'd you give it to? You didn't give me any.
Yeah, I'll probably get wilted, but Joni put a sign out there out front and free stuff, and people came by and took it. And one gentleman that stopped by was extremely grateful when he took it, and you could just see that. And he didn't know what to do with some of the things because we're growing organic food, and specifically kale, and not everybody knows what kale is, right? So we're trying to explain to him how to use it and how to cook it and what to do with it. And it was amazing how that effort and just that little bit of generosity led to other things. And so
there's a law in that.
Yes.
What you did is you were a cosmic law. You were giving to everyone, and you didn't care who they were. It was just the generosity of your spirit to give, or your heart. And I think when you're picky about who you give it to,
right,
I think then you block the flow because you're just picking and choosing rather than allowing everyone, just like the sun is warm on the just and the unjust. I mean, everybody gets to be warm when it's 70 degrees outside,
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's the same concept, there you go. You just made $1.
Maybe 2. I'm thinking I'll have to listen to the show again. I'll send you a bill. Hey, but can we talk about astrology now on this and how people's karmic patterns play into it? Can we please? Can we? Can we?
Well, I mean, we are in a way.
All right.
The astrology, where you leave off in your last life is where you start in this life, and it shows in the chart. So you can actually look at the rising sign, or what's called the ascendant. That's on your horizon, where your personal sun rises based on your time of birth. And that'll show where, I believe, where you left off in your last life, and you've got some pretty good mastery on it. So that's the way people see you when they first look at you. But your sun is what you're reaching for all your life and striving to become. That's why it's up in the sky, and we're always looking at it and reaching for it and thinking, wow, it's way up there. People got it kind of screwed up in the realm of their thoughts about their sun sign. They're always looking in the newspaper to read their sun sign, and it's like, wait a minute, that doesn't match. Well, duh, you haven't become it yet. So anyway. Whatever.
Yes. So, I mean, in the world, on the day-to-day basis, we see all sorts of, positives, but we also see a lot of perversions of, people misusing money, putting investments in places where it doesn't belong. And it eventually will come to a point where it has to balance out. And the karma from the misuse will also come around as well. So
you get tired of starving, so you start doing it right.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I've done a lot of work with people that have been on the streets and the homeless, and who obviously are at the bottom as far as the finances come back. And a lot of times it can come back to a sense of, I've noticed a pattern, a sense of lack of self-worth, that we don't feel like our gifts are being recognized, and as a result of that, we don't feel our sacred labor is being accepted by the world, and we get into this kind of woe is me type of thing. And that's not real either.
But you're the one that has to recognize it, not anybody else. It has to just be inside of you.
Right.
You can look at your sacred labor and go, oh my God, I did such a good job today. I'm so joyous because I loved and I meant it, and da-da-da-da. And that's what grows the, confidence. And the confidence attracts money. You know why people are fat?
No, why?
There's a good chance that they were starving in previous lives, and they sort of remember that. So they tend to gluttonize and overdo it, and then they become fat in this life. They can't stop eating. It's the same with money. Exactly. So you've got to get the right vibration. How do I feel when I'm spending money, and also when I'm making money? It's a figure 8 flow. So when you spend money, what are you spending it on, and what's the purpose and why? And what does it do to you? Is it a healthy thing that you're buying? Is it a healthy reason? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's like, that was radio silence right there.
No, I heard it. No, I didn't say. Yes, that wasn't radio silence.
Yes.
I respond, yes, that was it. How can you argue with that? You're right. You're absolutely right. That's it.
Well, I don't know. I'm not trying to be right or wrong. I'm just trying to, this is my meditation upon money. And I really would love to see everybody be able to enjoy the fruits of their own sacred labors and feel that joy that you did it right. And whoever was watching you, your God, however you perceive your God, whatever religion you are, it doesn't matter. It's just, the level of the heart. How did you handle your money? Because I tell you what, if you did it with love, unconditional love, that profound, amazing, I don't even have the words to describe it, you're going to be so wealthy, because it's not about the money. It's about the actual exercise of how you experience the money, if you know what I mean.
Yes, and having spiritual tools. Since we're coming into a greater awareness and a knowledge of our own karmic patterns and what we may have brought from a past lifetime, it may not happen right overnight. If you start to give things out, you're still having a lack, and that's where the Ascended Masters can help us. That's where the Violet Flame can help us, where they can add that component that we may be missing right now in this lifetime. By giving devotion, they can help step in and get us to the point where we can get that flow going again permanently. And I can witness to many times where there's been lack or want, and as a result, my karmic patterns that I know from my astrology is that once I give devotion and the masters have been able to respond, it's there. And I can guarantee you, folks, if you put the focus and the concentration in the right direction, it will come back. And
one thing that's important, though, is the most important word. One thing I could say is that one of the most important words about all of this is work. WORK. You have to work. You have to work at it. You have to put some energy into it. If you don't, nothing's going to happen.
Right.
If you sit there and feel sorry for yourself, oh my God, I don't have the money, nothing happens, And it's absolutely, that's what you're asking the sky or your God to do, is make nothing happen because you're not putting any effort into it. So if you don't go apply for the job, how in the heck do you expect a return on getting the job?
Exactly. Or put forth some effort. And the other part of that too is that you can see that without going too far afield here, is that concepts such as socialism, where you expect to distribute the wealth, is not right. That's incorrect. It goes contrary to the laws of our work and our sacred labor and growing individually. And so that is actually a perversion of that whole thinking. And so,
I have discovered that when I literally ask, I get a reply. If I don't bother to ask, I'm not going to get a reply. So, it's an amazing concept, as simple as it may sound. I make the effort and I get a return. What is the effort that I'm making? What am I putting into the ask? It's amazing.
And of course, biblical scriptures, on the Christian side and throughout any of the other religions, talk about the fact that you have to ask correctly, meaning you have to know what it is that you're looking for, because sometimes your prayers aren't answered because you ask amiss, meaning that you're not lined up on what.
No, I wasn't saying that I ask God, although I ask God through everybody that I encounter when I'm trying to do something. But God is everything, all people, all everything. God is everything. But what I mean is that when I put effort into something, I get a return. And of course, the quality of my ask is my ask from my heart, is my ask from my head, is my ask from greed, or is it from simple, hey, I have something to offer and I want to give it to you,
Yeah,
that's the result that I get.
We're gonna have to have a show on how the forces of darkness have manipulated the economy and used the laws of God against us and each other, and it would be interesting to have a show on that and talk about that, because there are some.
Yeah, but you know what, you can bounce off of that. You don't have to be influenced by that, even in the midst. If you use the laws of the figure eight flow, the ask and the receive in your own world, because you have your own world, and then there's the outer world. I mean, the government, the different politics, the different evil forces, the different this, the different that. But you have your own internal structure, and that's where you create your own personal figure eight flow, and nothing outside of yourself can interfere with that if you are in your heart and you have done, what I'm saying here. It's like you don't have to be influenced by socialism or communism or any of that stuff. You just stand where you are in time and space, and you make your choices, not to say that you need to rebel against your government and get yourself in trouble and get thrown in jail, because obviously that wouldn't be the right vibration. But you know what I'm saying? That would be interesting to talk about the politics of it, but you still don't have to be influenced by the politics of it. Donald Trump is a great example of that. Yeah, it'd be fun to do an economy show. We could do America's chart, America's economy.
Well, the economy...
But you have your... Oh, go ahead.
The economy is a kind of a summation of all the, the positives and the negatives that go on in a particular country. But we are being faced with massive manipulations of this as well, and that doesn't help our cause individually. But what Gene's saying is on an individual basis, this is really good. So, I mean, we can take time at some point and to dive into all those things that we can do and as far as understanding how the manipulations can occur and what's going on with our economy and why it's possible that we could have economic downturn. And, those are all karmic patterns that are coming to the fore from governments or cities or families or others misusing the light of God through the currency and things like this. So we're dealing with the equation of exactly what we need to do to put this forth to gain our abundance, but we're also dealing with the karmic repercussions and patterns that surround us in our circumstances in life, economic downturn.
Well, ultimately, you're in charge.
Correct.
Ultimately,
Yeah.
you are in charge. I am rich beyond my wildest dreams. I am. That's a great book by a person called Polly. But the thing about that book is they kind of suck you into their club, but there's some teachings that are kind of cool in there. I am rich beyond my wildest dreams. Rich is kind of like relative. Rich, are you rich in spirit? Are you rich in happiness? Are you rich in, feeling like you're balancing your karma and making progress? Are you rich in your relationship with your God? All of these things are so important to the equation of whether you're making money or not. Because if you're rich in all of those other things, the money just comes because you're not attached to it. You're not attached. You trust in your God to provide for you. Isn't it interesting? On every dollar bill it says, "In God we trust." Is that what it says?
Yes.
I hope they don't take that off there, because it's a very important part of the alchemy of making money. And making money is alchemy. Totally alchemy. You got to put a lot of energy into it to get it to come back. And the energy has to be right to get the right amount. Otherwise, you'll be walking that same old tough walk up the hill to prosperity. Anyway, so money, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. You want money, change your attitude, get in your heart, expect God to provide for you, and then do the work. It takes the work. You got to put out the effort and then wait for the return. Don't wait too long. Continue the work.
And have Gene do your astrology so you can see any negative karmic patterns that could be blocking you from being able to get the maximum benefits that you can from your work and your efforts.
Well, that is true. You can look in your chart and get an objective look on what the level of money and the ability to create a return is. And you can also see your career strengths, your talents, and get a whole list of that and truly make some choices and rearrange yourself so that you can precipitate more of whatever it is that you think that you need to have to outpicture success in your life.
Very good.
That sounded like more than a mouthful. Well, now that we're a little bit richer in consciousness, I guess it's time to go, Arthur.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go. William and I, Gene, I definitely want to talk about this more because there's a lot that we can talk about gold and precipitated sunlight and God consciousness and energy and everything else. And I think we need to bring this back on a part 2. Talk about gold, money.
That sounds like a good deal.
All right, so William and I are going to go down the hill. We're going to go get some stuff at the Immigrant Mall down here.
And I'm going to go up the hill and dig for gold.
Oh, hey, do you realize that the state motto for Montana, do you know what it is?
No.
Gold and silver.
Really?
Yep, there you go.
That's it?
That's it.
Gold and silver.
So that's your job in Montana. Find the gold and silver.
I think there was a country singer named Linda Ronstadt who wrote a song about gold and silver.
Really?
Something like that.
Linda Ronstadt.
I don't know.
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
That shows you how old I am. Oh, my God. Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye. Let Jean do an astrology consultation for you, your family, or your friends. Go to astrologyjeanhart.com or give her a call or text her at 1-406-599-3934. There are powerful spiritual tools available to help you deal with planetary and personal challenges, and these can be found at prophecyisgiven.com. And be sure to visit our website at thetrekkupwardradioshow.com or stop by on Facebook at www.facebook.com/trekupward. And be sure to hit like on our page. Or visit YouTube and search for the Trek Upward Radio Show. Be sure to subscribe so you do not miss another episode of the Trek Upward Radio Show. The Trek Upward Radio Show is a studio at 5,600 feet production.